Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 23 of the Glory Days podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh is back. Let's say a big welcome back to Josh.
Thank you for having me, boys.
No, what do you mean, thank you for having me?
You banned me for like a month.
We banned him for a month, and then we picked him up from the airport because Will was going, so we needed a new WoW signing.
I wasn't good enough.
He kept showing up at my house after, repeatedly leaking my address, so I just had to let him on the pod. It's just
just doxing the address.
No other way I can resolve the situation. But Josh is back now, ladies and gentlemen, and we've swapped him out for Will.
We'll swap Will out for
He's
him.
gone, but you know what? You guys already would have seen Will because he would have had his little cameo appearance probably put at the start of the video.
Assuming he sent it through.
Oh, yeah, assuming he sent it through. He probably didn't.
But
he's got better things to do right now because he's currently in Austria, I believe.
No, he's in Spain.
Or is he in Spain at the moment?
Getting pissed in Spain. Maybe finding us the next Castro.
Well, would be very much appreciated, Will. You can do something useful while you're over there. But regardless of that, we've got quite a bit to talk about today. I say quite a bit. We covered quite a lot in the last episode in terms of signings, and since then, not much has happened. We have had one signing, which I guess we'll just quickly get out of the way.
We thought it was going to happen.
We knew it was going to happen. We thought for a second it might not, but then it very clearly did. Tas Mortakudis is officially a Perth Glory player, signed on a 6-month deal, I'm assuming with an option to extend. But that comes after stints at York City and Valor FC in the Canadian Premier League. Yep. He's joined the club on a deal until the end of the season.
Which we all sort of knew was happening because we saw him training.
We saw him train. He was right up there, and it's like, well, why else would he be in a Glory kit running with the boys at full time?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But the Jets game 2-2, round 16, after a 10-day break?
Something like that,
11 day.
10 or 9
10 or 11,
something like that.
Something like that. A long time off, and I think we were all unanimous in our thought that after the Wanderers game, despite the fact that we lost it, we didn't exactly come away from it going, fuck, we're in a really bad spot. We left it going, all right, we lost, but at least there's something to build on. And I think with this game, I can only say this now with the benefit of hindsight because I couldn't watch the first half live because I was under general anaesthetic, and I was glad that I was under general anaesthetic because that first half for me was a step back. But we'll obviously touch more on it as we go into the game. But just in terms of some general thoughts, Josh, what did you think of the game overall? 2-2 draw.
I mean, in the end, obviously we played well, but to start off, I feel like, to be honest, I don't know if you boys have noticed, whenever we have like a break, that sort of, I notice that happens, we look a bit rusty. Like when we played 3 games in a row, we looked a lot better in my opinion because we're constantly at it. But I don't know, whenever we seem to stop, I feel like it, we get a bit rusty. Like pre-season, we had a bit of a break between the Morton game, and that's when it started to fall apart, in my opinion. But,
what did you make of the game?
It was a rough one. It was a rough watch. I can see why a lot of fans are sort of jumping at it, being like, oh my God, we're seeing a lot of improvement, stuff like that. Let's not forget that we played pretty bad that game. And I know we were missing some key players. Obviously, Labib was out. I've heard a lot of sort of here and there as to Labib.
There's not a lot of concrete stuff.
Yeah, we didn't really hear anything on the social media for it. We haven't really heard anything from Zrilic or anything like that. He wasn't selected for the Oz under-20s. I'm going to assume that he is injured, but due to there being no official post, I'm assuming it's not a serious long-term injury. I'm hoping it's just maybe just a little bit of a precautionary one, maybe a little muscle pull or a little issue somewhere, but hopefully nothing long-term, obviously, because Labib's been an absolute star. The game was tough, honestly. The Jets looked really good. I was concerned pretty much the entire game. When they were building up, Costa Grozas was pushing up, so they had an extra man in midfield pretty much. A lesser backline, so they were open a bit more to counters, but they were just really impressive on the ball, to be honest. They were intense pretty much the entire game, and they had multiple attacking outlets. They had, Gibson, they had Clayton Taylor. Dobson as well looked great. He had a horror miss, and I feel so bad for him being only 17 years old, but he looked really dangerous that game. Eli Adams, I don't know why, but Eli Adams is just one of the most just bang average A-League A-League youngsters.
Yeah.
But whenever he plays against the Glory, he always scores. He went his entire career at the Victory and Brisbane Roar and whatever, not scoring. Comes up against the Glory and bags twice.
Yeah.
And he's done it again. He's bagged for the Jets. Didn't he bag in the game earlier this season as well?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
I think so.
So he just hates us for some reason. He is Joe Lolly. He is Joe Lolly 2.0,
Yeah,
I guess.
budget Joe Lolly.
Mate, I remember on this podcast, like in the early days when we were calling for the club to try and go for Eli Adams before the Victory got him, man. Oh.
Yeah. Well, I think it honestly is quite surprising that we've played the Jets twice now, and in both occasions they've looked better than us.
Mm.
I mean, even though I think the last 10 or 15 minutes we, sort of got playing a bit better, I think that was probably more to the Jets' dreadful game management once they went 2-1 up. I think, like, in the sense of holding on for a lead at home, I thought they defended really, really poorly. And I mean, credit to the boys for the way in which we got into it, but I just think, and it was interesting reading the fans' comments at full time, just seeing their thoughts, because, like I said, I only watched the last 20 minutes of it live after coming out of surgery, and it was like a game where there was too many steps backwards rather than steps forward, and we'll obviously delve into it a little bit more. But David made a few changes to the team. Labib out, Tas Mordakutis thrown straight in, which I thought was a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Pennington out, Brandon O'Neill in, not so much of a surprise. We had a bit of word that, they were being a bit cautious with Pennington, and that's totally understandable.
And he's very noticeable when he's not there.
Fucking oath it is. And Will Franey was dropped to the bench, and Pat Wood came in. And I think we may as well also mention, obviously, Abdul Faisal departed the club.
Yes, he did. Forgot about that
in terms of the transfers. So what did we make of the lineup leading into the game? Were we happy with it, or were we a little bit confused by it?
Obviously, I think we're all a bit frustrated with Labib not being there. I think starting Tas was the right call, though. Obviously, look, in an ideal world, in my opinion, I think Zach Lizalowski probably pairs with Merchler a bit better than Tas Mordakutis.
I agree.
Just because Zach has a lot more recovery pace.
Yeah.
He's a much more impressive physical frame. Maybe you say Mordakutis is there because of his experience, and he's been playing heaps in Canada, and he's been starting heaps of games. That's fair enough. But at what point are you going to actually play Lizalowski in his natural position? And I know that we are sort of seeing him as a left back now, which is great. It's great and all. But Tas did not look like a great... I'm not saying he did awful.
No.
I'm not saying he did awful.
I mean, I was actually saying to
He actually
James
did
in the
okay.
car that he's a backup for Merchler.
Yeah.
You can't play him next to Merchler.
Him and Merchler are too similar for my
They're
liking.
not going to. He's not going to elevate the team to a new level where you're going to sit there and go, "Wow!" In the same sense that Lockie Wales has been a complete elevation.
But that's
to
the
our
thing.
attack.
I don't think Tas was brought in to do that. I think
No,
he was
no.
brought in to provide some good experience at
Good
the
cover.
back. Look, unfortunately, we'll say it. Our centre backs haven't been good this season. Kanga and Barr, we're just waiting to leave the club at this point. Same with guys like Ayama. But look, I'm very, very confident that Lizalowski would be probably a better partner for Merchler than Mordakutis. And that's nothing on Tas.
No.
I think Tas is a good defender, and I think I'm very happy with this pickup.
Yeah.
And even after this season, I'm hoping that we can maybe even keep him on for a further year as a good rotation option. But it's just the defense looked really slow for a team like Newcastle, who were so just rapid and just hell bent on hitting on counters. Having a centre back pairing with not a lot of pace was really, really risky. Thank the absolute Lord that we got a point. It was the biggest scammed point I've seen from a team so far this season. Only up there with Auckland scoring a goal 3 minutes after the end of added time. But it was scary to watch. And you put Labib next to either Tas or Merchler, and I feel much, much better about that.
100%.
And that's just credit to how good Labib is at only 18 years of age. But one of his best characteristics that I don't think we have in our other centre-backs is just his raw athleticism. Yeah. The pace, the power, the aggression, the sort of just confidence to just get stuck in there. It's something that I think we're missing from Tas and Merchler. And Tas has only had one game as well, so I don't want to say too much. But from what we've seen of him in terms of his athletic ability, and for those that have been following him for a while, he does lack that sort of recovery pace.
I think,
especially with Masao coming in as well.
Yeah.
You need Labib in that back line because Tas is just too slow. Like, he doesn't fit like you were saying, that profile of what you want?
I think one of the more confusing aspects of the selection was shifting Jalen Pearman to a wide position to allow Patrick Wood to start. I mean, I don't have a problem with us playing with a front two, but I think at the expense of someone like Jalen, who's been performing really, really well and consistently well, I don't know why we put him in a position where he's a little bit unfamiliar, because when I was watching the first half back, for me, Jalen was receiving in areas that he hadn't been very comfortable in, and he often lost the ball quite a lot of times. And he's not someone that gives the ball away cheaply when he's playing as a traditional number 10.
Yeah.
But I think that decision to put Jalen on the wing and then have the two strikers up top, it's one of those facets of David's coaching that I'm a little disappointed with, which is putting players out of their natural position. And we've seen that a couple of times this season, whether it was Pennington as a 10,
Exactly.
or
There's a last left back.
or Bulgaria being shifted out wide. It's just like you've got players that have got a certain profile and we want to develop them, put them in positions in areas where they're going to flourish. And obviously as the game went on, Pearman grew a little bit more and started to link up well.
I actually think he did pretty well, especially in defensive metrics.
He did. It was very combative. Did just want to remember, because I did forget real quick, we did have a couple fan comments.
We forgot the
Whoops.
fan comments.
So,
oh my
There was a few. So, and then we'll jump into the game. So Matt Vandenberg, he said that he thought the Jets' inability to score in the first half cost them dearly. Although I thought the Glory's goals were lucky, the penalty in his view was controversial. He feels that the Jets only had themselves to blame. He still thinks that the Glory have what it takes to be a top 16, but they need to be brave. Not sure about that. Davey Barkley. This season we were promised fast, open, high-pressing, highly aggressive football, and in the post-match presser, Zrilic heaped praise on the players for getting more compact and slowing the game down. So much for faith and philosophy. Ewan Gray, have we hit a new low needing to waste time for a draw against the Jets? And Marco, can Taggart still win the Golden Boot? So,
that penalty was not controversial, bro.
No, I think it was a clear. I think it was a clear and obvious handball. But I think to talk on the start of the game, there were warning signs for me very, very early on.
Oh, of course.
I don't know if you remember, Alex, when I shared remember the Oz Tactic thread talked about the Newcastle how they beat our press.
Yeah.
There were at least 2 or 3 times in the game where they were able to beat our press with that same mechanism, which was having their fullback in a wider position, knowing that our press wasn't going to be well coordinated, and because it wasn't well coordinated and everyone was a little bit out of sync, they were able to get us out of a more defensive position and then either look to exploit spacing behind or through a switch.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, did we not do our homework after the 4-0 loss in round 8? I sort of have questions about that, because just the ease in which the Jets were able to bypass our pressure, and the way in which we get so exposed if players don't win their 50-50 duels and how out of position they can be. For me, that's something that was really concerning very early on in the game.
It just looks so like panicky as well, like under pressure, in my opinion. Like a few of the times when the Jets were like on goal, we just looked like we didn't know what to do. I don't know if that was just me, but
no, I think that's fair.
a lot of mistakes that just a lot of players out of position and no idea what they were doing.
Look, I want to say that one thing that we really lacked in that game was just physical athleticism. I really, really think we were missing it. Now, obviously, you can make the case in saying that, well, the back four was pretty similar. Labib was a huge miss. I think we can all agree. His partnership with Merchler has easily been, I think, one of the best in the league in the last month or so.
They've been good performers. Yeah.
And Pennington was a huge, huge miss in that midfield. As much as I love O'Neill, and I think him and Gamulka did a great job shutting out the game against Auckland, the experience of O'Neill is great, but you need that energy. You really, really need that sort of box-to-box 8 who's just going to run the show, and I think we missed Pennington today. Look, in terms of recruitment around that, I do think we need a Pennington backup. However, I'm almost comfortable in saying that Will Frenier has shown a lot of promise
He's
as
been
being
impressive.
someone, and especially his cameo against the Jets was really, really promising.
Yeah.
He was in for every challenge. He won heaps of duels. He looked combative. He looked, energetic, like he actually just wanted to get stuck in there and just win shit. And that's the kind of attitude that we needed that game. I'm not saying that O'Neill and Gamulka don't care. Gamulka, I actually think, had an okay game.
I thought he was our best midfielder.
Yeah.
On the day for me.
O'Neill wasn't horrible either. It's just when you lack the sort of physical capabilities in the midfield, especially in scenarios when the Jets are overloading in attacking transition, it's really, really difficult to watch, and it's really, really difficult to sort of, pinpoint as to where we can improve with that, because it's not a tactical thing. Let's not put shit on Zrilic for it. This isn't a tactical thing. There's
elements where it is tactical to a degree, because I'll try and see if I can put the clip up of the Jets having their first chance of the game. But it exposed how easily our press can be broken up by teams.
Yeah.
The Jets aren't one of the greatest technical teams in the league, yet they were able to build out from the back in a far more competent and capable manner than we could. Because of that, they were able to, because for the way in which Glory pressed, we've changed our pressing structure, but it's sort of like a 4-1-3-2, where we don't have both centre midfielders pushing up. We have one sitting deeper and one being higher up. But we had Brandon O'Neill stepping up and Taras Gamulka being that sweeper. Normally it would be Nick Pennington stepping up. And there was one example where Taggart was going to press the goalkeeper and Wood was initially marking his man, but then one of the Jets players dropped, and then O'Neill was too slow to get to the player. I think it was, I forgot who the player was. It might have been Bayliss. Yeah, Bayliss dropped. O'Neill was too slow, and then he was able to play Wilmering, and Daniel Wilmering was just an outlet for the Jets way too many times. And again, that's why I go back to the point of, did we not do our homework? And that's why it's sort of, for me, a bit of a tactical problem that we didn't really fix in the first half, and we were very fortunate to not be punished further, I feel.
Look, I completely agree on that, but at the same time, regarding the Eli Adams goal, I'm a bit disappointed with the sort of defending there.
Oh, yeah.
Because I understand the want of O'Neill and Gamulka to sort of just want to drop off, and then maybe wait till he gets a bit closer to sort of get in there. But they waited way too long. They gave him way too much space. He had all the time in the world. He had a good 5 meters of distance to be able to get a shot off.
Yep.
It was absolutely ridiculous. I'm not going to sling shit on Zrilic for that, because unless he specifically told them to jockey him till he gets to the edge of the box, then I will accept it. But I don't believe he did that.
The thing is, though, with the we may as well touch on the Eli Adams goal, but that, if I recall correctly, came from Daniel Wilmering being an outlet in a pressing situation. He plays the whipped ball around Glory's midfield. Merchula's clearance doesn't really work, and then the ball gets to Adams, and then surely someone would know they've got to step out and apply a little bit of pressure. Like Adams has shown against us a number of times that he does have fantastic technique, and he can pick out, the bottom corner or even the top corner, even
From long range as well. He did it in the victory game.
I remember. I remember that goal far too well.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. Our start was compounded by our complete lack of any intensity, and I just don't understand how after 10 days you can't show a good level of intensity from the start, where we've shown in previous games a good start. Yet in this game, it felt like we were watching that HBF Park 4-0 loss all over again. So for me, unless you guys have any other thoughts on the on that goal, is there much?
Not really. Look, I just think that maybe a two-striker formation wasn't the right thing. I think that Pearman, I think he would have been a lot more useful if he was sort of inside in that midfield, maybe just dropping a bit deeper and acting as sort of like a bit of a partner next to Gamulka and O'Neill, just to shut the middle a little more. Because like you said, he was wasted a bit out on that left-hand side, and I thought he pressed okay. Ostler's a bit slow, but I thought his movement was good in terms of the press. But it's just the two striker formation, I just think, left way too many gaps in the midfield for my liking.
How did you boys think Ollie Sale played?
standard, man. Honestly, there's not heaps you can do in games like that. I thought he was fine.
His long balls again when we're building out from the back, and it's not just him because Perth Glory period cannot build out from the back, and that for me is still something that baffles me. Like if we're gonna our in possession practices are very below par. If we're being totally honest, I mean when we're in the final third and we can transition, that's fine. But in settled possession, you look at how the Jets can move the ball around. Fast or slow, they can pick their passes, they can make good runs and move well for each other, and I don't know how we in round 16 still haven't sorted that out. And teams are catching on. Teams know that if they catch us on the ball, they can exploit spaces that we leave. And I think that miss of the season from Dobson, that came from us trying to play out from the back. We lose the ball, and then we're very fortunate that the young lad stuffed up his finish twice. But for me, that was one of the really disappointing parts of that first half, the fact that we can't build out well enough, and I still feel that we don't really have a plan on how we're going to attack teams.
We'll move on to the Taggart goal, since there's not really much we can discuss about that one. Just Taggart applying pressure, Fox in the box type stuff, gets the volley off. Clear handball for me. I don't really think there's much discussion. Look, I've seen a couple of people saying that, his body's turned, stuff like that. But Taggart's shot is going on goal.
It is, yeah.
It is going on goal. And it is a very, very clear handball. The hand is not miles away from the body, but it is away from the body. It's still
away from the body, made himself unnaturally larger. I mean,
I can't lie, I was shitting myself, bro, because I just had this feeling that Tags was going to miss, but you know what? He does not miss. He does not miss.
Oh, I mean, after that... that one he missed.
He does not miss!
Was the last season?
Nah, don't talk about that.
Oh, yeah, against Wellington?
Yeah, that one was awful.
No, but Taggart. But in fairness, though, we don't get back into that game unless Adam Taggart drags the team out like he's done on so many occasions, because there was another detail that I noticed in... around about 29th, 30th minute. There's a period where they're about to go and press, but they're in a block. He turns to the entire team, waves his hands up, quite in an animated fashion, right? Yeah. And he's going, come on, we've got to step up and press. And this is the thing. It's like, I respect the way in which we want to play. And when we get it right, it looks really good. But we've got to have a much better mindset collectively when we start games, because it can't just be a trigger like Adam Taggart or one challenge that gets the boys motivated and G'd up and ready to press. They have to be in a better mindset from minute 1, not minute fucking 30, and rely on Taggart to pull something out of his ass.
I don't want to be that guy as well, but I've sat behind Zrilic in a few of these games, especially the home games at HBF Park against Auckland and Wanderers, and I feel like, I know there's been discussions of he should be more animated, but I'm not going to say that this is like telling that he's not a lead or anything like that, but I would like to see it a bit more. Just up G'ing the boys on. When you want him to press, fucking scream it, man. Just let him know. Because Taggart's a great leader. Murchel is a great leader. You got great leaders all over the pitch, pretty much. Yeah. Riston's a great leader. Yeah. But I want to see just more from Zrilic, man. Get up there and just fucking belt it out, honestly.
Yeah, because it's like, well, you think of pressing, you think of Klopp.
Yeah.
And how animated Klopp was on the 100%. Sideline, and just it would be the spark to drive the team on. And I think when you've not got natural pressers in your team that by default just press like there's no tomorrow, you probably do need your coach to sort of get your team by the scruff of the neck and sort of help it out a little bit. But I think in the sense of just the first half, I mean, there was another stat. Will's normally here to get a raw take on stats, but in the sense of chances created from open play. Do you want to have a guess what ours was, Josh?
Chances created from open play.
Like an XG. What that XG was.
Like 1.5.
1.5?
That means it's really, really good.
1.5 means
like
1.5. 0.5.
Zero.
So half an expected goal.
Yeah, half an expected goal.
I'm gonna say 0.1.
0.05.
Yeah, I mean we. One of them.
0.05 because we're taking away the pen.
Yeah, true.
0.05 to Newcastle 1.47. So I've not talked about XG from open play in a few weeks now, but this is the thing. It's like the lack of productivity from when we have the ball is so apparent that we look not even like an NPL side. We look like a Metros Div 5 side, because I understand we want to play with a good tempo, but the amount of simple mistakes that we make in the midfield or final third, or even our defensive third,
it's so frustrating.
It's frustrating as fuck. And then at some point, we can't blame Dave for it, but at some point the players in ways have got to pull their finger out their ass and stop making simple mistakes. Like, I didn't see the Jets players that many times when they were in settled possession missing passes the way that we do.
Yeah.
It's like there's got to be
simple
fast
mistakes is a training issue. Like, it means in training that whatever Dave is trying, they're not linking up properly. It's just not working.
It's just attitude. It's just concentration. It's like you should be able to hit your target, whether it's stationary or moving. Right? It's it's a basic concept.
Positioning, and I mean, some of them are silly mistakes.
Yeah.
But I feel like some of it's got to be on Dave, in my opinion. Because
Well, what do you blame Dave for? What is he going to do?
like in training, he should be able to rectify at least half of these mistakes and be like, oh, you should, like, he should show the replays to the players and be like, why have you positioned yourself here when
What Papa would do?
Yeah, like a lot of them are silly mistakes. It's just miscommunication, in my opinion.
Yeah. I have a feeling like they would be doing stuff like that.
They would be doing video analysis of some sort.
100%.
But
look, I don't know this for a fact because obviously I'm not involved in Perth Glory in any capacity.
But they can't use the kangaroo excuse they don't speak English.
No.
Look, even if this is going to be a weird callback, but even if you look back to the remember A-League All Access, that one episode that we had under Zadkovic?
Yeah.
There's a small little segment there where they're sort of just going over the whole squad, just watching over the match footage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's very clear that they do go over match footage, so I think that's fair to say. If you can criticize Zrilla for one thing about the attitude to the team, maybe he needs to be a bit of a leader, maybe he needs to be more vocal, but I really don't want to put too much on him because, look, as a manager, you're there purely to win a tactical battle, all right? The players need to be able to carry themselves like professionals, and this is coming from, James, you and I have had plenty of coaching experience.
But that doesn't mean we're on the same level as Dave.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying we are, but I think you would agree that the last thing a manager wants to have to do is to sort of have to, I guess, deal with motivational factors or deal with actual attitude and stuff from players, because you're there realistically. Your main goal is to win a tactical battle. You set up your own style of play, you develop players how you want, stuff like that. But the real difficulty in, I'd say, coaching, for me personally, has been man management. And I think that would be the same. From what I've heard, it's probably the same with a lot of professional players, if not more so, because there's obviously money involved, there's careers on the line, there's success involved,
higher stakes,
absolutely higher stakes. So if I can have these problems sometimes dealing with 14, 15-year-old kids, I can only imagine what Dave would have to deal with as a manager and how the management.
He's got players that range from young guys to senior players that are making elementary mistakes.
That is true, but at the same time, there's things that you can't really put on a coach. If an experienced player is making an elementary mistake, we're going to get onto one by Mordicutis in just a little bit.
Yeah.
But if an experienced player is making an elementary mistake, I can't put it on a coach. If a young player is making a mistake because they're not experienced enough, I can't put it on a coach. You can maybe say, why are they starting there? But you can't point to every little mistake and say, that's the coach's fault, that's the coach's fault, that's the coach's fault.
No.
Most of the time, it is just on the players. And I understand that clubs, a lot of the time, will be like, oh, our form is shit, sack the manager. Oh, our players are unhappy, sack the manager. But you can only go through so many people and so many philosophies before, wait, hold on, there might be an underlying problem here that we're not looking at. And I genuinely do believe that Zrilic is a good tactician. I think we can all agree on that to a relative degree. In terms of man management, I think he needs to be a bit more vocal. Just because
he's vocal on the touchline, but it's in the way in which you communicate. For me, I don't know. I mean, like, it's not like a major gripe, and I mean, who the fuck am I to say how Zrilic should coach? I'm a young fan at the end of the day, but there's a difference between, let's say, Popper telling you to do something versus Rilla telling you to do something.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's not a sledge on Dave. It's just like the how you communicate your plan and how you create your plan. Because again, you look at, for me, okay, you had the game against Jets at home. That was a disaster, and you no doubt would have analysed it to death, going, okay, we conceded the goals through this. We were beaten by the Jets through this. Our press that we wanted to hit didn't get what we wanted because of X, Y, and Z. I would have thought, okay, we would have taken that leading into this game as some key points to keep in mind about. Yet we didn't seem to follow through with any bit of homework that we would have taken from that game. Because again, like I mentioned, Jets created a lot of their chances the exact same way or very similarly to the way in which they played the first time we played them this season. Yep. And that for me is something that you can go, okay, Dave, what's the explanation for that? Rather than what some fans do where they, and I saw a few of those comments at full time and they're just going, oh, Zrilic out. Well, it's not productive.
Yep. I think surely enough he would have shown the boys a replay before this game of that first Newcastle game, and it'd be like, we can't. These are the most. We can't redo this. These are the main problems that happened, and surely if they happen again, that's something to do with his sort of system.
Perhaps,
yeah.
But there's just an attention to detail from both, including the players and coaches. But it's players and coaches where it's been letting down.
Realistically, this is a really hard conversation for us to have on the podcast because we don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot that sometimes we do know that we can't say, and most of the time it's just shit that we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what they look at in training.
No, we don't know
how they train. We don't know who does well, who doesn't do well. Like for example, I didn't even have him and pegged as getting a substitute appearance this season, but apparently he trained so well that he forced a starting spot. So
yeah,
it's just the stuff that we have no idea about. Signings and whatever, we can get in contact with journalists or agents and try and find out.
Glory Days podcast is a little bit of pull,
but to find out stuff like this, you have to go directly to the source, and none of us have talked to David Zrilic at this point. So look, if we can figure out stuff, we'll mention it on the pod. If we're allowed to mention it, we'll mention it on the pod. If we can't, we can't. So we'll move on to the next point before we get stuck on this. The Jets' second goal.
Yuck.
Frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I thought that we looked a bit better coming off the back end of the second half. I was really hoping for a good start to the first half.
To the second or the first?
To the second. Good start to the second half.
Yeah.
I thought coming off the back end of the first half, it looked okay. We'll sort of picking up the momentum a bit. And then the Jets got their second goal, and I just felt shot, man, honestly.
It's just, and then I'll let you have your thoughts on it, Josh, but I was watching it from my hospital bed, and I've fucking let out a few expletives as it went in. But it was just passive. And then I think because Franey was pointing out who dropped off, it was Gibson. He dropped off. Great ball from Grozos. To split the ball.
He's brilliant, man.
To split it through, 6 Glory players? Because you had the 2 strikers, midfield 4.
He is possibly one of my...
But that was Mortakudis' mistake.
No, beforehand.
Yeah, beforehand. Grozos might be one of my favourite deep-lying playmakers in the league. 100%.
I wouldn't say no to him at Glory.
Oh, absolutely not. I think he fits O'Neill's profile a lot better than Gamulka does. 100%. That's not saying anything on Taras, by the way. I just think he's a different player. But yeah. Grozos for me is O'Neill with
a bit more mobility,
a bit more
precision,
a bit more athleticism, but a bit less experience.
Yeah, but a good ceiling. If we ever could sign him, I'd be happy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We were doing so well.
We were doing so
this
well.
episode professional.
Yeah, but
oh my God.
You were going to mention Mortakudis, but yeah, that it's a mistake. It's from Tass. It's a mistake. I mean, a good finish from Clayton Taylor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good finish, but that's something that you got to cut out.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, elementary, simple mistakes that cost us points.
It's unfortunate for Tass because I genuinely thought up until that point and even after,
he was
I think
fine.
he had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
I think he recovered really well. He was incredibly solid for the last half hour.
I think he won pretty much all of his 1v1s.
He did really well. Yeah. I'd say he was probably better defensively that game than Merchler.
In his defence, just to defend him
his defence,
because
his defence.
Do you think he was honestly fit enough to start?
No.
That's the thing, because I feel like we've Labib out. I feel like he would have been thrown in.
I don't think he was 100% ready to start, but at the same time, your alternative to that is either A, chucking in Majeka Dunmi, who hasn't played since round 1, or B, playing Lizalaisky there and then starting
Missau.
Missau.
But we don't know what Yuto's fitness levels are at. We just know that they're better than Takuya's.
And
played 20 minutes.
we will say.
Where was Hand?
It was pretty clear. We heard from multiple sources on Twitter. Okamoto did suffer an injury.
Calf, I think.
Was it a calf? Yeah.
That's the rumor.
Well, that's the rumor. We won't mention any more on it because we haven't.
Don't know if
got
it.
confirmed.
It could be wrong. We could get in trouble. But
this is just the sort of same assumption that we're going along with the lines with Labib and everything like that, where
it's not gospel truth.
Yeah, it's
don't shoot
not
us.
gospel truth. But if they're missing, it's likely that they are injured, especially. Considering that the club hasn't mentioned it, it's probably just a light injury. Yeah. I'm assuming Okamoto should be back hopefully soon.
Yeah. We may as well touch on our second goal because or even just the approach play beforehand, because I think once that second goal went in, I think the game changed because obviously Dave made the subs of Wales and Asmo and Missau coming on.
People need to give huge credit to Dave for those subs. They were perfect, perfectly made subs.
They were
common sense, but they were perfectly made.
They were, but this is the thing. Yeah. We played the front four that I want to see moving forward in Taggart, Pearman and Asmo, Wales. Funnily enough, we had this debate about wingers and output. And Anasmo was someone that we felt quite comfortably was someone that could give a higher level of output.
Ironically,
I know he missed that one-on-one.
Fuck it, he was good.
He was fantastic.
He was fantastic.
And
ironically as well, we move Jalen Pearman back to
number 10
as a 10 and play with one striker with two wingers and a 10 like we've been playing really well with for the past
And Shock, we look good.
And Shock, we look really, really good. Genuinely, that last half hour, you can genuinely
10.
make
I say last 10.
Maybe, last 10. Last 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You can genuinely make the argument that we probably deserve to maybe get a bit more out of that.
Yeah,
I'm not
agree.
going to make that argument because the Jets hit the crossbar and the post about 4 times and Dobson missed that awful chance in front of goal.
Yeah.
So I think a draw is maybe fair in terms of a result. But back on Anasmo, this is a guy that hasn't had a start this season. Has been struggling. He had that bad injury towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
He has looked a gun since he came back. And I know he's only had a couple cameos here and there, but every cameo he's had, he's looked really promising. He's not scared to take his wing on. And that's something that we criticised Abdul for. Obviously, Abdul's now gone to the Mariners. I hope he can, really shine there. We wish you all the best, Abdul. But that's also something that we criticised Kwa for.
Yeah.
And look, I watched Kwa in the night series game against Bayswater 2 days ago. He's the kind of guy that when he breaks out of his shell, I'm genuinely so excited. Because this man would pick the ball up in midfield and genuinely just put his head down and just run at people. And it's what I want to see. I want to see that sort of ballsiness from him. And he would get chopped and chopped repeatedly, but he'd get back up and just keep going without hesitation. But for some reason, whenever it's an A-League game, he will get to someone and he will stop. I don't think he has that sort of... I don't want to say he doesn't have the confidence, but I think he needs to believe in his own hype.
It's just self-belief. It's just...
Absolutely.
Because you look at an Asmo, when he picked up the ball, I immediately had that flashback to, remember the Brisbane game 3-2, Stadge was coach, and he went on that mazy run for Taggart's equaliser at the time. Immediately thought of that. Just like an Asmo picking the ball up. We had some forward runs for once. And, all right, the pass from Taggart to Anasmo was a little bit...
overshot.
Yeah, but I think it just showed that the persistence and perseverance to try and force the ball home was something that I really enjoyed watching. Yeah. And that goal also doesn't happen unless Adam Taggart does that extra 2 or 3% of effort.
He's him.
He is him.
He is him.
Yeah, and he caused a deflection. And Lockie Wales, fantastic finish.
Oh...
I
can't fault it. I don't know if it's
if Dobson could miss from fucking 2 centimeters out, then
not
it's
necessarily
a good finish.
a Puskas contender, but
it's Puskas.
I can't fault the finish.
It's Puskas only because of Dobson missing that chance, how he did in the first half, almost same spot.
I think that's really good though for like Wales and his confidence, especially like coming straight into the team. But like I don't think he'd be lacking confidence, but I think I'm happy for him, but if he missed it, I'd be a bit disappointed.
Needs to start against the Victory. 100% needs to start against
Will
the
he
Victory.
be fit?
Fuck it.
I don't even care if he's fit or not. He's shown me enough.
Chuck him in.
He's shown me enough.
Yeah.
Do we really have that much to...
And Asmo, the chance at the end.
How can we
Missau as well. Sorry, I wanted to mention Missau.
He looks solid.
He had a brilliant cameo off the bench.
Yeah.
Not goal line clearance, but blocked a very good chance. There was that one where he sort of had a chance to shoot a goal and tried to pull it back. I was a bit annoyed there because I kind of wanted him to just shoot a goal, and I think he could have scored it. But it's whatever. It's a split second decision. He made the wrong decision. I can forgive that. But him defensively looked really solid. He looked comfortable in the ball. He looked willing to sort of get forward and try and progress the play a bit more, especially down in Asmo's side. And I'm really looking for... Oh, God. I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to when Pennington comes back, because I think Nassau's going to have a lot more freedom going forward.
Yeah,
because
more movement.
You're going to have those people that can sort of cover. Labib, obviously, a lot more athletically capable. Pennington, a lot more athletically capable. It gives Nassau that sort of opportunity to push forward a bit more. So I am looking forward to when he comes back. Look, aside from that, I think we should probably just maybe even get into... the match preview. Actually, no. Before we do, sorry, I want to discuss quickly transfers. Now, obviously, 2.5 weeks left to go in the transfer window.
Right.
We do have a possible injury. Well, a probable injury to Labib, a probable injury to Okamoto. I'm assuming neither of them are going to be out for too long. Hopefully.
We
I don't think we'll sign any more defenders.
What I'm curious though is that, are we going to see more outgoings? Because obviously, Faisal has just left the club. We haven't seen Warland in a while. He's been dropped completely from the squad. We haven't seen Ayama. I'm pretty sure it's clear that he's gone. And we haven't seen Bar. I'm pretty sure it's clear he's gone. And we haven't seen Milius.
Well, Hamzawi wasn't even in the...
and Hamzawi wasn't in the squad either.
I think if we don't see the departure lounge, used a fair bit or more, rather, this window, it'll definitely be at the end of the season.
I think with Wales in there, we won't see Millet. I think he's gone.
No, Wales, and that's the thing. Wales only played 20 minutes and was more impactful than Millie has been.
And both of his hamstrings are intact as well.
Well, both of his hamstrings were intact, but that's the thing. It's funny how much better Glory play when they've got guys that are quick, direct, can link up well, can dribble, can take on their opponent, and we suddenly look at a team that's half competent. When we don't have that, my God, do we stink.
Yeah, I agree. Look, at this stage, I think I'm honestly okay with us not signing a 10. I have full faith in Jalen Pearman. I'm okay with us not really going for another winger either.
I think we need a left winger.
I want to put some faith in an Asmo for a bit.
This is Joel's chance.
Yep. Give him till the end of the season. Trust in him. I honestly think he can do bits. Fullbacks, I think we're covered with Okamoto, Resden, Lizalowski, Hamzawi for the moment, and Misau as well. Defensive midfield, you can maybe make an argument for one more signing, but I think Franey is good enough to sort of cover in those positions when needed.
I still feel though that we need more of a
back up to Pennington.
We need a Verstrata type. I still feel we need a Verstrata type because the amount of loose balls that are there. I mean, you need someone that can win those contests and also cover for Risdon.
Yeah.
Because there's a point that I wanted to make. I don't want to have a go at Risdon because he's been so good for a lot of the season. But I get really concerned about how he recovers. Like how slow he can be to recover. And I know he's not the same young Risdon anymore.
That's why I think Labib down his side was so important.
Yeah, and we missed that. Because... obviously we want Risdon to be aggressive and press and try and win the ball up high, but this is the thing, because it's such a risky move and 50-50, if it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. And the fact that Newcastle were pushing their wingers up a little bit higher meant that having Tommy Murchler try and chase them down, because there was an opportunity for I think Taylor in the 9th minute or something like that, and Mortakutis blocked it. But this is the thing, it's like this is something that we should have anticipated when we were planning for it, pending what Labib's injury situation was. But I think moving forward, definitely a really strong, high-volume, ball-winning number 6 that's mobile has to be a critical.
Fergate.
Well, he'd be great, but
I know I say this every episode,
but I don't know if we can pull him out of Western United. He's got a bigger ceiling than coming to Perth Glory.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%, he's a great player.
Victory.
I want to just touch one little bit more on transfers. Obviously, there was plenty of rumours that's been surrounding Theohoris. We thought going in for him. That's done.
Confirmed. Do you mean?
Huh?
Yeah.
Isn't it Theohoris?
Theohoris.
Doesn't matter. Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Tyrannotheohoris. not coming in.
No.
Made clear by Central Coast Mariners.
Yeah, Mac Jackson.
As well as we were supposed to. Well, there was lots of rumours of Glory getting a possible Saudi Arabian signing. We've heard nothing on that,
Nah, I
so
reckon
that's
it's
most
done,
likely not
finished.
happening. The last one that I can possibly see happening is maybe Josh
Nah,
Laws.
forget about it.
But given that Hayden Matthews has now left to Sydney
Oh,
and
he's gonna go to
MacArthur have
Sydney.
lost both Arslanagich and
Oh, that-
apparently I've heard they've lost Oliver Jones as well. I've heard he's...
Sorry, but about Arslanagich though, I do love the fact that when he was about to get picked up by the cops, he was like, "Do you know who I am? I'm an
playing
A-League footballer."
That I said this on Twitter.
That's like a Perth
That
Glory type of
is
thing.
no. That is the perfect example of the kind of attitude
play
I want from
A-League.
these visa players, bro. I don't need these players coming in here thinking that this is some small bum ass league that they can just piss around and do whatever they want.
Yeah.
This man assaulted a police officer and then said, "Do you know who the fuck I am? I play in the A League."
Come to my country, I'll kill
That
you.
is, mate. I
to my
rate
country,
that so
I'll kill
highly,
you.
mate. Arslanagich, mate. I love you forever.
Well, I don't
honestly.
rate him assaulting a police.
No, absolutely.
No.
I don't know assault. I don't rate the assault, but the balls and the just confidence and the pride to say, "Do you know who the fuck I am? I'm
play
an A-League
A-League
footballer."
Oh.
I love it.
Stan,
I love
that's
it.
a wow signing.
That's a
Yeah.
wow signing right there, man. We will get onto the victory now, though. I'm. Yeah.
That's going to be a tough game.
It's going to be a very tough game. I don't think that we... Look, with our strongest squad, I genuinely think after that Auckland game, we can scrape a result against any team.
Yeah.
However,
we won't have.
our strongest squad for the most part,
We'll just have
I'm
to.
guessing.
Well, we'll have to see. We might be in. Luck.
Yeah. Well, look, best case scenario is that Labib and Pennington are both back.
Yep.
Missow is fit to start. Wales is fit to start.
You get all that, then I think we're a good chance for.
100%. 100%. I'd say, look, ideal lineup for me personally is going to be Sale and goal, back four of Risdon, Labib, Murchula, Missow, two CDMs of Pennington and Gamulka, Pierman at cam, left wing and Asmo, right wing Wales, and Taggart up top. I think that's pretty unanimous across the panel.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Have we played Brisbane twice yet?
No,
we
So
played
we
them
play
once.
them at home soon.
Yes,
right?
we do.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, yes, I might be able to see Glory win at home for once. Oh no, I wasn't at the Auckland game.
I wasn't either, so Alex was lucky enough to see a win.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, victory are going to be a tough challenge, I think.
I don't mean to be a negative Nancy, but I don't see us.
So you're not going to put $50 on us to win, is that right?
No.
Yep.
Bro, I'm surprised that you're not pissed at an Asmo, bro. I'm surprised.
It's like, what the fuck?
I mean,
This man put $50 on Glory to win at 5-1 odds, and he got a draw. That is just... I felt so bad, bro.
really? I literally was about to win. Like, when an Asmo was on goal, you were like, oh.
Fuck.
No, bro. When an Asmo missed that, I was just like, oh, shit. And I was just like, really disappointed, but I was like, at least we got a point. And then I thought,
Oh, Josh would be upset.
oh, no.
Yeah. Victory, I think, they're coming into the game in fairly good form. Well, not fairly good form. They beat Sydney FC. I mean, look, everyone's beating Sydney FC, it seems, but they seem to play fairly well against Sydney. Bruno scored.
Victory have been a bit inconsistent.
They have been inconsistent, and I was hoping if we could have beaten the Jets, this would have been a really good time to play Victory.
Just one quick point on Victory. Now that they have Langerak,
Yeah.
what are the chances that we might be able to secure Jack Duncan?
Nah.
You don't reckon?
Matty Ryan.
Look, here's the thing. I think Wellington might honestly be... I think... Maybe not this transfer window, but come end of the season, I could honestly see Sale going to Wellington and Jack Duncan coming here.
Duncan's got... No, his contract expires at the end of June.
I could see that.
I'd take it.
I don't think Birighitti is going to come to the club anymore, unfortunately. He's got a technical director
Well, we
role.
don't know.
No,
We'll see.
James, I'm very confident.
We'll see.
James,
I don't think he's
maybe
fine.
as a... Look, here's the thing.
We don't know for sure.
Yes, but I can see Cook and Sale leaving at the end of the season. Maybe Birighitti comes in as a backup, but for now, he's got a technical director role at Perth Soccer Club. He has his own coaching business, and he's playing for Perth in the Night Series right now.
Yeah, of
so I'm
course
assuming
he's
he's with
gonna-
them for the NPL season.
And
Right?
he's 34 now.
He is.
Fuck it,
I
I'll
don't-
still take
look,
him.
I wouldn't mind taking him or Luis Italiano from Bayswater on a...
Nah.
Just as a backup.
No,
just as a backup.
no.
Alex, you and your bloody MPL players.
Forgive me for actually watching MPL games. And
Alex
not
will
just
always
getting
like
your
posting a Glory Days group chat. He'll be like, guys,
That was Finn. That wasn't even me.
We beat Bayswater, and I'm like, I don't give two fucks.
We lost to Bayswater
They lost
first of all.
2-1.
we lost
And
it,
secondly, that wasn't even me. That was
Finn.
Finn. I made one post to say, "Oh yeah, we lost." By the way,
No, Alex
Finn was doing live score updates.
No, you were both. We both were, I think.
bugger off! I literally, mate, I put
Bugger
one
off.
post at the end saying, "Oh, we lost to Bayswater." By the way, that was it.
You said-
Finn was doing
yeah.
live score updates.
I do appreciate that because if I can't really make
Oh,
it. So, yeah.
and Go was so good, man. Yeah, cool.
You're a donkey, bro. Go back to Europe already. Honestly,
No, there's actually one point that I did want to talk about that's positive. The women's team. Because they
the last minute winner.
They beat Brisbane 3-2. Crazy first half. 4 goals in the first half. And then the free kick. So you know the meme of that guy going foot like a traction engine?
Yeah.
Ella Abdul Masai.
Shit! Did you see that?
Ella Abdul Masi, yeah. So
Where does that put us into like table standings?
We're mid-table. Mid-table.
Ninth. So the girls are doing better than us. The blokes, I should say. But
It's not difficult, James.
not very hard. But I mean, look, no, fair play because you know when the women's team do play well, I think it's important to talk about them, especially when the guys haven't been all that crash hot. And
That women's game was the highlight of the night. It was way
Oh, the City,
the women's game against
yeah,
the
but that's
Jets.
because we lost 5-0 against City. But then
Okay,
again,
but
that
at
was
the
a
same
deserved
time, that was
highlight.
genuinely enjoyable.
Oh, yeah, I enjoyed
I
that.
would watch more Women's A League games if
we had the time, or
yeah,
Yeah, but-
it's hard bouncing between venues. You know.
yeah.
what I
Well,
mean?
when they're not at, when they're at Sam Kerr and all that.
Oh, when they're a 15-minute drive from my house, man.
Bit further.
I'd
for us too.
go watch them. I'd go watch them more regularly if I
But
wasn't
it's
the
a-
only one that was.
No,
going
it sounds really bad when we're like, oh, I'd watch it if I had more time. It's
But
just-
I've
but like,
But like,
to
it is
make to drive
genuinely-
to
yeah.
drive there from our house. Yeah,
You've got to remember these guys drive 45 minutes to an hour to do these podcast sessions, and then me on the other hand, when they do play a lot of the time on Saturdays, they're playing earlier in the day and the men's teams are playing later,
Yeah.
and I a lot of the times have to come straight from work to the glory games anyway. But I don't know why we're defending ourselves. And
But even still, the point is on the game is that Brisbane were in the top 4.
yeah.
And the girls had been in a pretty shitty patch where they hadn't won in quite a few games. I think the last one was the Adelaide one. And, they had some pretty... They're coming
What
off
do
a
you
very...
mean you think the last one is the Adelaide one?
Well,
But it's
yeah,
on the screen.
I see it there.
It's
Well,
on
anyway.
the screen.
So, no, because I did watch that Adelaide
Yeah.
one because that was the game where Ross and Bontempo and all the other guys were there seeing a team that could actually play good football wearing a purple shirt.
Sam Kerr come home.
Well, she should do. But yeah, a good response from the girls considering we were quite bad against Western United. So a good win for them. Score prediction for Melbourne victory.
3-1 loss.
You're fucking negative. You, Alex?
Oh God, I wasn't expecting this to come so soon. I haven't even thought. Look, if we go with the lineup that we all agreed on
would
here,
like to see.
I think we can scrape something. Maybe not a win, but with a good performance like we had against Auckland and like we had for a large part of the game against the Wanderers,
Yeah.
I think we can scrape something here. I'm going to maybe say... it's tough. The Victory are in good form. We're going to need big performances from guys like Wales. Obviously, he's going to be up against Casey Boss. Taggart's going to be up against Hamill and Miranda.
It's hard to say because you don't know what the lineup's going to be.
Yeah, I really want to see.
Ask me when the lineup's out.
Anasmo show some confidence, though. There's a good chance he's going to be up against Josh Rawlins.
Yeah. That'd be a good
and
battle.
I think that will be a good battle to watch as a Perth fan, obviously. They have a strong midfield. Teague is going to be a nuisance, so if Pennington can sort of combat him, I think we're in with a good chance of winning that midfield battle. Regardless, if I'm being realistic, I think that the Victory probably do take the win. I'm not too fussed about the result. Obviously, I want to win. But if I see a really good performance from the boys and I see some actual sort of just, I guess, competitive nature and, actually pushing the Victory to the limits, I'll be happy. I'm going to say 2-1 to the Victory, but I could easily see it being 2-2 or even 2-1 to us.
Yeah. No.
This is going to sound so dumb, but I just want to come away from the game being impressed. Like, the Auckland game where the Auckland game, how we would have come...
to be happy.
No, but
Like the Western Sydney Wanderers.
No, the Auckland game, how we came away from that game going, shit, we actually played quite well.
Yeah.
That sort of impressed with the way in which we play. I want to have that sort of feeling again because that Jets game, the fact that we had to wait 10 days after the run of 4 that we had against, Sydney, Western, Auckland, West Sydney.
I
Wanderers.
don't mean to be a negative Nancy, but the Auckland game, yes, we played well. We also got very lucky.
Oh, we did. We did.
But
however,
we still played very well.
Perth Glory, if you could do me a favour and win the game against the Victory,
I'd love
because
to win.
according to my YouTube analytics, my matchday vlogs do better when we win games. That would be very nice.
Just win. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Were there any other-
Crowd predictions.
Oh, it's
It is 5,000 free tickets.
if you register with your Squatty ID or your Football West ID,
If you haven't done that already, do it now.
quick, get a free ticket. You get 2 free tickets for general admin section. Go and do
you
that.
reckon we crack 10 grand?
No,
You don't reckon we crack 10k?
no, I don't think so. I'd love it, but I don't
Home
think
game
so.
against the Victory.
I would love it, but I don't.
School holidays ending. Saturday night, free tickets.
This is why we should have fucking beaten the Jets, because then I would have said, yeah, sure, why not 9 or 10.
I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say we.
If we get a good crowd, then I think we win.
Alex, you always tell us how Italian you are, and then you go, do you reckon we'll crack 10 grand?
He's gonna bash you.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Oh, do you think we reach the capacity of the stadium?
How is fucking possible?
You think we reach the capacity of Le Stadio HBF Park? Do you think we reach
Stadio
capacity?
Rectangular.
Fucking idiot.
Any other final points?
Oh,
before
yeah, you're Italian. You're not allowed to speak Australian, mate.
No.
Australia Day was yesterday.
I was just like...
Happy Australia Day to
Any other
those
final
watching
points?
as well. I think we lose,
On-
but
on
I
the-
just
on
want
the-
to see a good performance.
Within
Yeah.
on the Jets game, any other things that we
I don't want
to
to talk about that game ever again, personally.
Because I'm glad that I only watched the last 10-15 minutes. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I watched the mini match.
Fuck, this guy's not a real fan. You know why? Because he was on a boat and he put $50 on us to win.
What do you mean you watch the mini? Do you not do preparation for these episodes?
No, I watched like 10 minutes of the game live, and I was like... But I was thinking piss. I was like, nah, this is too stressful.
for me.
He was on the boat living the Ross Peligro life.
So I watched about
The
45
billionaire life.
minutes worth.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, bro.
Fucking hell. The prep we do for this podcast.
And we got you, who's been away in Europe over a month, and just come back. Oh yeah, I watched the 3-minute highlights.
No, the 20-minute mini match.
I know.
Yeah.
Mini match.
But yeah, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If the audio sucks, it's because Alex's computer is fried. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're on a tight shoestring budget, so...
Yeah.
Some sponsors would help.
And James has just lost all his money on expensive ass surgery, so...
Oh, I was above my ass, fortunately.
Honestly, if we were to get a sponsor, like, it doesn't have to be money. Like,
Well,
Gauge
could it-
Roads, if you want to
we-
sponsor us, get us some free booze, I'll appreciate that.
Maybe not free booze, because I know that you are going to take all of it for yourself and won't be showing up for that episode. But if you would like to sponsor us, the email is on the screen now. James will edit that in.
Imagine if I
James is
don't.
like, why
If
are
he,
you
well, if he
making me
does,
do
it's going to be
this?
real awkward. It should be in the description anyway, I'm pretty sure.
No, it's not.
Okay, well.
Sorry.
Um,
Anyway.
anyways, thank you so much for watching episode 23 of the...
Whoa!
Of
No, hold on. One point I do want to raise.
Oh.
Well done to the travelling fans who made far
Yes,
more noise
yes.
than the fucking Newcastle fans.
Newcastle.
How embarrassing. You got outsung at your own ground.
I'm in the process
Well
of
done to
possibly
the guys
making
that went down.
I'm in the process of possibly making a video for my main channel of worst A-League fan base.
Fucking Jets.
The Jets are right down there, bro.
Matt
genuinely.
Vanderberg, get better fans at your games, mate. Come on.
They don't talk, bro. They're so quiet.
The
Anyways,
thing is, the Jets get like they're in a similar. Sorry,
We're not ending this.
They're in a similar stadium to us, and they get similar crowds. Like,
they get less.
well, a little bit less, but like they're just quiet as. They've escaped the Matrix. They're not a real club.
What are we, stuck in it? Or we? What are we?
We're stuck in the Matrix.
Escape the Matrix. And on that note,
Thank you for watching episode 23 of the Glory Days podcast. And we will see you after, hopefully, a good performance and even maybe a good result against the Melbourne Victory. And until then, best wishes to you all. Best wishes to Will as well, mate. We're looking forward to hearing from you next. And until next time, lads, catch us later.
see you later.